Hey everybody, it's Julie. Welcome back to Row & Co Farms. Today I want to take you along as I refresh some of our natural cleaning products in our house. So I like to make the majority of the things that we use for hand soaps, dish soaps, sprays for all-purpose cleaner, and so today's the day that I'm going to kind of refresh and do all those. They're really simple. I keep some of these general ingredients around all the time, and that way it's easy to quickly remake these items without having to go to the store and buy more and more stuff with cruddy ingredients. So one of the first things that we do is I just refill some old pump hand soaps. So we'll be doing a foaming hand soap, a spray cleaner, just an all-purpose spray cleaner with vinegar and citrus. Again, I just reuse bottles from previous things. That way I'm not buying more stuff. And then we're also going to be making a dish soap, a solid dish soap that will go into this little copper container that we can just use a scrub brush and get in there and get that out. So we're going to be using our collection of essential oils that we have here. We have lots of different scents, and so we can scent things however we like, but we'll be using that along with just some of these basic ingredients. Let's get started, and we'll do the hand soap first. It's really simple, and you're going to wish you had done it a long time ago. So hopefully this will be an easy way for you to make a swap into a better product for you and your family. So the thing we're gonna make first is our foaming hand soap. And like I say, I just reuse old containers, but there's lots of containers that you can buy online if you want to have, a fresh, new, aesthetic container. But for me, this is not an important sticking point, so I don't mind reusing the old containers. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna be using this unscented version of this cast iron soap, and the recipe that I normally use calls for a 1/4 cup into the bottom of the container. Some of these are pretty small containers, so I'm not gonna quite use a full 1/4 cup. I just usually make sure I cover the entire bottom of the container and then go up just a tiny little bit from that. And that's usually enough to satisfy what I need. So we're gonna go ahead and fill those up. And that's usually plenty right there for what I need. We'll do the same for this one. So at this point, you're going to add your essential oils, about 20 drops into each container. I used a combination of orange and spearmint in one of mine, and then a combination of lemon, lime, and orange in the other container. So I filled the container the rest of the way with water, and I actually put too much, and so they kind of overflowed a little bit here, but just make sure that you don't add too much water. So the next thing that we're going to be doing is straining off the oranges and lemons from our vinegar that we have been letting steep for the last 6 or 8 weeks or so. I can't remember exactly when I started it, but long enough. It's been sitting long enough. So I'm just going to use a sieve strainer so that we don't have all the pulp in our final liquid. And this will actually be pretty good because I think most of the oranges will stay in the jar. So that's nice. You can see, I'll show you in a second, the liquid is already like really orange. So it has nice essential oils already in it from the rinds of our oranges. Very good. And we'll kind of do the same thing. We'll just mix these together. I don't mind having the orange and the lemon together. So we'll pour that in too. Try to keep some of the lemon back. There we go. There we go. There's our liquid. Ooh, really vinegary, but it also has that nice orange and lemony smell to it too. So now we're just gonna transfer that into our spray bottle. We're gonna pour this in, and then it'll be ready to go. Probably should have learned my lesson from the last time. Let's pour off a little bit of that extra so we don't overflow it, and put our lid on, and that's ready to go too. So for our next recipe, we're going to be doing a melt and pour soap, and I'm gonna be putting it into this little small container that'll be sitting next to my stove, next to my sink. That way I can just easily put my little scrubber into the bowl there and get the soap directly from inside there. So I've never done this before. I'm just gonna try it out. So I'm just gonna be doing just this enough for this one bowl of soap. So if I like this and try it out and it works, then I'll kind of do that again. But I only have this one bowl, so this isn't something I'm gonna be able to kind of do like on a grand scale. It's just something I'm gonna try out this once, and if I like it, then I'll do it again another time. So the things that I am going to be using today are a soap melt and pour base, and you can use any melt and pour base that you want. You can find these at almost any like craft store, Hobby Lobby, Michael's, Amazon, all those places. So this is just a clear, you can see it's just a clear, you almost can't even see it in there, glycerin soap base. I like this for the dish soap because it suds a lot. So we're gonna use mainly the glycerin, and I also have some of this goat milk melt and pour base. We're gonna use just a tiny bit of that, just so that our final product doesn't end up completely clear. It'll have a little bit of whiteness to it. So we're going to be melting those down, and then we're just gonna add some essential oils and then pouring it into our mold. It's really simple. That's it. There's nothing else to it. We'll be melting it in a double boiler, which just means we're gonna be putting this pot on the stove with a little water in it, and then I take this metal pan or bowl and set it down inside there, and I melt my ingredients in here. That way we're not putting our ingredients directly on the heat. We're just getting kind of the steam from the water that is melting our stuff, and then it won't scorch everything. So that's all we need. So let's get started. I'm gonna chop up what we need into little pieces. It'll help it melt better, and then we'll move over to the stove. So I'm just gonna pop these out of here. Again, we have a really small container, so I don't need very much of this. I think I'm just gonna take one square or one little rectangle, if you can see, of this, and then I'll cut off a little bit of the glycerin as well. I like melt and pour soap. It just kind of takes away some of the steps. I do still like to make my own soap when I'm actually just making soap for the purposes of like body soap, I guess. Then I like to make it myself. But if I'm using it as an addition to other things, then I prefer to have like a melt and pour. So let's cut. I don't think I'm gonna need even a whole chunk of this. So I'm gonna go. That should be good. I'm just trying to envision this with this kind of filling up that bowl. I think that's pretty close. So my knife is stuck. All right. So we're gonna just cut that into a little bit smaller chunks, and it does cut really easily. So we'll add our water to the pot, and we'll start to melt this over a medium heat. It'll take about 5 minutes to complete.
So once the melting is complete, we'll let it cool just slightly, add our essential oils, about 25 to 30 drops, and then pour it into the container.
Oh no, I just spilled some. Okay, well, as you can see, it's poured in. It's nice and white, which is what I was looking for. And we just have to let it be really still because this is hot and I did spill some already. So I'm just gonna have to leave it alone for a little while. All right, let's move on to our air freshener. So the very last thing that we're gonna do for our natural cleaning product is a room refresher spray. So instead of those aerosol spray cans that you're gonna spray all over your house with those nasty fragrances added, we're going to be using water, a little bit of grain alcohol. You can also use vodka, that works as well, but this is what I actually have on hand. I use this when I make tinctures. So we're gonna be using the grain alcohol, and then whatever scent of essential oils that you like. I'm gonna be using a combination of some like evergreens. So I have fir, cypress, cedarwood, rosemary, and sandalwood, and we're just gonna do just maybe a couple drops of each one of those and kind of get a Christmassy pine kind of, pine kind of scent. So hopefully that will turn out nice, but let's go ahead and add those ingredients to our container.
For this recipe, you're going to be using about 1/4 cup of the alcohol. It can be either grain or vodka, then about 3/4 cup of water, and 10 to 12 drops of essential oils, whatever ones you choose. The dish soap is amazing. I will definitely be doing this again. It is nice and lathery and it smells delicious with all of the citrus that I added in there. So I will definitely be doing this project again. The hand soaps are super lathery and they feel really soft on your hands, and they smell great with whatever essential oils that you choose. The all-purpose cleaner is great for using on my countertops. I'm always having to spray down and clean up after a meal, and so this is perfect. It's just vinegar and citrus, which is all edible, and I feel safe using on surfaces that I'm cooking on.
I hope you guys enjoyed this today. This is just a few of the ways that we replace products in our home. And the next video I do, I'm gonna show you how we replace some of the beauty products like shampoos, soaps, face washes, and those different kinds of things. So I wanted to start off with this version of things. This is an easy place to start so that you're not using those harsh chemicals day to day in your home. So all-purpose cleaner, air freshener, and hand soap and dish soap. Great places to start. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and I can't wait to see you next time here at Row & Co Farms.